Hey, Chris. Thanks for joining me today. I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk through enablement in financial services in a bit more detail. Right? I work for HSBC in the corporate institutional banking division. Enablement's a big part of my role, and I think we've been on a pretty exciting journey over the last couple of years. And the opportunity is just becoming even more and more broad and across the kind of institution. How about from your side? Do you see the same in financial services from Bain's perspective?
Yeah, for sure. Well, so in the commercial excellence practice, which is cross-industry for us, we do all things B2B organic growth. And from an enablement perspective, there's definitely been some leaders and some laggards. I would say on the whole, financial services has been a little bit behind. I think what you guys are doing is a bit leading for your industry. Certainly tech led the way, right? Which, as is usual with enablement, especially tech-enabled enablement, if I can use the word twice. But I think that I think financial services, there are so many RMs, there's so much opportunity to drive consistency and messaging to make sure people are finding the right material at the right time, but also adhere to a lot of regulatory standards that, frankly, other industries don't have to deal with. So it's an extra challenge, I think, for you guys in your industry.
I couldn't agree more. And I think if we went a layer lower, you could let's look at maybe the IBN first, right? It's investment banking, the opportunity for enablement in the kind of the digital deal room, digital deal lifecycle seems massive, right? There is a lot of tech in that kind of space already, but nothing in the frame of what you can do in changing the client experience from my perspective. Like digital deal rooms for the issuer, where you're being really rich, you're presenting up the research, you're bringing the whole institution's thought leadership together. And then obviously out to the investors as well. You know, when you're road showing, can you create a more personalized experience? Can you get that richer analytics back? The constraints are the security, right? So you're dealing with material non-public information. The cyber standards need to be incredibly high. You need, insider register integration, that kind of stuff. Have you seen anyone kind of conquering the IB space yet? Or is that you've seen the same challenges I do?
Yeah, and I think if you go back to the days of the VDR, right, the kind of data rooms that where a lot of that stuff lived, it was more financial data, right? It was a lot of just the basic sensitive stuff that you use to underwrite the transaction, right, or make the case to the IC. But I think in a digital room like what you're describing, you kind of broaden the aperture a little bit, and I think do the same thing of bringing the different parties in the transaction together to be in the same space. I can't say that that's something we see regularly, but I think the leading institutions are investing more in that. As you say, there is a lot of emphasis on central control of the risk and the governance and understanding the security around it. But once that takes a little bit of time to get in place, and it sounds like you've done a bunch of work on that front, which then lets you do what you're doing now. And that's definitely the first step for companies that are trying to go on that journey.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting for that space. And I think a close parallel into the corporate banking world where we've spent a lot of our time, it's in investment banking, it feels like a kind of deep deal kind of value case, where in corporate banking, it's the breadth, right? We've had to bring on over 90 publishing groups from different products, regions, markets, strategy, et cetera, to try and show the full breadth of capability that our institution can provide to clients. And there, that scale piece is the challenge. And therefore, things like the ability to, remix and bring all of your different pieces of content together to create a unique client pitch that covers every aspect, every part of the solution. But also, we've started working with Highspot around the integration of AI. And so things like having instant answers on that knowledge base, allowing people to identify, where the solution might exist, but actually where the expertise is a big part of it as well.
Yeah.
And again, the constraints there are where we need to manage our own models, right? And so it's an embedding of capability from HSBC side into the enablement stack that's been the challenge.
Yeah, I think the stuff and the people, if I can say it in a basic way, super important. Even in our firm, we talk a lot about who's who in the zoo. So can you find the right expertise? Back in the day, it was sending around emails. Hey, who knows something about this, right? This product. I want to run a cross-sell play with my client. What do I do? And I think in this case, being able to embed that in a knowledge manager, say who knows the most, right, about this line.
Totally.
And surfacing that so that people can reach out and have that conversation, or bring them to the pitch, even better, right? That's not something you could do a few years ago. And so having that capability in Highspot's great.
Yeah, we're seeing 3 real explicit use cases come through. We've got the junior teams out there just learning, right? So yeah, there's learning management suites. Yes, there's a lot of pathways we can provide to them, but actually just being able to ask questions as a corpus of content that represents your business is a massive learning opportunity. The second is finding those really bespoke answers, like what currencies do we support in this market on this, payments platform, and okay, it exists, but it's on page 60 of the product pack and it's in the footnotes, but they can surface that out quickly. It's really a really important use case. And then that thematic piece of saying, well, what's our position as an organization on our net zero transition plan, or on our, what's our view on, the industrial sector in Europe, and bringing together our research content and our sector team content. So
yeah, that's powerful for an RM for sure.
Exactly, that's the big focus. And then maybe on the buy side, we spend some time with our asset management colleagues, our colleagues in the private bank, and what they're doing in trying to scale distribution in a really exciting way, but not just the distribution angle, but also for the folks running money, right? They have a knowledge agenda there. They have for many, many years, right, been building out very rich kind of databases of research and their own kind of proprietary data in it, but surfacing that up, creating better dialogue around it, curating it into better thought leadership. Have you seen a lot of that activity with your conversations?
Yeah, I think some of the core use cases where people are starting around summarization and then composition too, novel composition from those source materials is definitely something that is increasing in adoption and is where a lot of people have started, right? And now the advance, which I think we've seen some over the course of this conference around document generation and creating new material from that and making it easy is the next step. Yes. Not to mention recommending it to someone. Hey, you should go have this conversation. Here's what you need to do it.
100%. It's the AI opportunity and enablement has been really focused on enabling the enablers right now, and then it's starting to get into the kind of exploration and tipping into generation. I think that's where the massive excitement for us is that when these tools help us curate the content itself, create new content, access new expertise, reach more and more kind of those frontline audience, I think we're going to be really untapping the efficiency at that point.
Absolutely, and I do think the holy grail, if you will, is a true next best action.
Yes.
Right. So here's the material you need. Here's what we would recommend you do next. Here's how we monitor whether that happened. Here's feedback that we got from that whole engagement cycle and how that can be fed back in and improved. Right. That getting to that, building the stepping stones to that is kind of where we're at in the market in general. Right. And I do think we'll get there with what AI has become capable of, even just in the last 18 months. I can't imagine next year what will be possible.
100%. I think the final thought from me would be that next best action, that walk to revenue. It's not just opening people's eyes to other ideas to cross-sell, to enhance the solution or the proposition you're taking to your clients, but it's also massive acceleration in time to revenue, right? We're very good at measuring what happens at the very start, the intensity with our clients, so we can measure the outcome, the revenue opportunity, the pipeline. But the actual revenue, walk through there and guiding people what's the most efficient way to bring the client along the journey, speed up the transaction, speed up the deal lifecycle. I think that's, as you say, it's going to be huge with all the recommendations of content and plays and engagement with the clients.
Yeah, we talk a lot about increasing the metabolic rate of the commercial engine, which is basically what you're describing, right? And I think, measuring the activity and the progress and results still remains pretty critical. But this gives you the ability to actually push the pace, right?
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, great to chat.